Good day to you out there, and this is another edition of Business and Economy, and today's promises to improve your knowledge on how to cope with aspects of the current economic realities facing the country. You will find it interesting and rewarding. I am Ile Emeje. The decision by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to completely remove fuel subsidy has raised some arguments across many quarters in the country. While the move is aimed at achieving long-term economic sustainability, the immediate effect is seen to be characterized with harsh economic challenges, particularly for low-income earners. On one hand, some development analysts have reiterated the need to ensure a smooth transition and alleviate the burden on citizens, while on the other hand, some are of the opinion that it is crucial to identify immediate solutions that can cushion the effects of this policy change for effect and immediate implementation of an effective initiative. In today's program, economic analyst Mr. Abraham Olakpade is my guest and will be joining us after the business news to discuss the topic, coping with the harsh economic reality. We'll be right back. A total volume of 2.451 billion stocks were transacted by investors on the nation's capital market last week, valued at 40.570 billion stocks in 37,959 deals. Mutual Benefits Assurance, JPOL Gold, and Airtel Africa PLC were top on the advancers with a gain of 29%, 28%, and 27%. Conversely, RT Briscoe, Better Glass PLC, and Mayor Paints PLC led the laggards, depreciating with 14%, 10.4%, and 9.87%. The Financial Services Index dominated the general activity level with 1.480 billion stocks, while the oil and gas industry and the information and communications technology (ICT) contributed in 354 million stocks and 175 million stocks. During the week, major indicators improved by 4.5% to close at 70,196 units and 38.557 trillion naira. And on the exchange rate, while the naira appreciated against the dollar at the parallel market to 980 naira to the dollar, it exchanged on the I and E window for 782 naira to the dollar, 965 naira to the pound sterling, and 838 naira to the euro. Ile Emeje, ASO Television. Our guest, the economic analyst Mr. Abraham Olakpade, is already in our studio and here with me, and our focus is how Nigerians can become firmer to cope with the current economic realities resulting from fuel subsidy removal. Mr. Olakpade, you are welcome to today's program.
It's always my pleasure to be here.
All right. Many Nigerians are yet faced with the reality of the consequences of fuel subsidy removal. What, in your opinion, should be done at this particular time, especially on the level of the individuals and the level of the government? What do you think should be done?
Before we talk about what should be done, I love to put things in the proper context so that people can learn. Students can be younger people, younger than me, because I'm also a young person, can be watching. We just need
even
to even the older ones. So we just need, this is an opportunity to just enlighten ourselves about the history of subsidy and the removal of subsidy.
Yeah.
So subsidy came on a PMS done in the 70s, during the time of the oil boom. So we were producing oil. So the government of the day just thought that, okay, why don't we give our people some subsidy, let the price be lower than what is paid in other nations, so that at least we enjoy the dividend of we producing the oil.
Now what we produce,
so that at least we enjoy what we produce. So other countries also, different countries like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, some other oil producing companies also does the same thing, because since you are the one producing, your people should at least enjoy what they are producing. So we are not the only one doing it. Other countries also do it. But when it got to 1977, so that was when it became an official policy of the government. The government has been doing it since the early 70s, but when it was 1977, it became an official policy. It was institutionalized under the Price Cap Act, which that once was simply stated that some prices of government peg price of some commodities. The price cannot be sold beyond a particular threshold. So, and what happened during that time was also that it became, the price of PMS became a uniform price. So it means what is being sold, the price that is being sold in Maiduguri is the price that it should be sold in Lagos.
All states of the
All states of the federation, because there should be difference in the price. Don't forget that if you bring this crude, if you bring refined petrol in through Lagos, don't forget that it's going to cost you lesser to distribute it in Lagos than for you to move it up the north to Maiduguri, the distance and everything. So that 1977 price cap also pegged it, gave us a uniform price. So government was the one that was knowing how to handle the difference and all those things. So, but when we went broke, we started going broke. 80s, early 80s, we started going broke. By 83, we were completely broke. So we were completely broke by 83. 84, we were coping with it. That was when we started learning new grammar, austerity measures, all those things. So when we got to 85, so it became a very serious problem. The debt was already so much huge, so we could not cope with many things. And one of the things that has to go was subsidy. So, you know, the World Bank, IMF, lenders, let me just say money lenders generally, they were lending us money. So, you know, they have to come when you are owing, so they have to come and check your books and let you know, okay, why don't you let this go so that you can put this with for your debt servicing, so that you can have more money to be servicing your debt. So one of the things that was a part of the deal was subsidy should go, PMS subsidy. So by 1988, that was the first time we had subsidy removal. Subsidy must go. So the government attempted it. So it was a phased out thing. So, and they responded with palliative, mass transit, and that. So since that time we've been battling with it. So partial removal, in the 90s, the government will say, no, it's too much, let's reduce it. No, it's always a big problem between labor and the government and the people. Sometimes it will lead to riot. So in 1999, when we gave back, when this Fourth Republic came on board, so Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, so he also said, okay, we want to totally deregulate the downstream sector. So when he wanted to deregulate the downstream sector, he didn't succeed with it. So he only took subsidy away from diesel, AGO. He took subsidy away from some other items, but PMS was a very big problem because most Nigerians use PMS. So there is no alternative to PMS for now. And since then and up to now, so PMS is always the elephant in the room. It's always the big elephant in the room. So, but it was a phase-out thing. So it began a phase-out thing. So Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, he tried it also. So to completely phase it out. So, but you and I, we remembered what happened when he tried to, in 2012, January 1st, when he tried to remove it. So he also did not succeed with it. So it was a phase-out thing also. So in 2016, former President Muhammadu Buhari, he announced that subsidy is gone. That was in 2016, February. So, but later on, we discovered that subsidy came back again. And the government explanation was that our currency was not strong, so international price affected it. So even at that 165 naira, government was still paying subsidy. So they small good it back into the budget. So we've been coping with it, we've been fighting it up till May 29, when this new administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu announcing that subsidy is gone speech. So we are here where we are today. So 6:30 in some places, 6:13 in some places, Diesel don't let us go to that one of diesel. So let's just stay on PMS.
All right.
So to the question of what needs to be done individually, because I'm just giving the historical background why we are here, how did we get to where we are.
Yeah.
So individually, you just need, every family need to sit down now and look at your income vis-a-vis your expenses. SSs must go. Like many of my friends, they have to withdraw their children from the school that they have to be paying for school buses, because school buses now are times 3. So they have to bring their children to schools that are close by.
Okay.
That even if they will spend on school bus, it's going to be minimal.
Okay.
And they don't have to drive every day or fuel their car every day because they want to go and drop their children in school or bring them back. So they brought their children to schools that are close by. Those are the economic reality of the days. Some people, the wife and the husband, they will look at it. If you look at how much they are paying you vis-a-vis how much you are spending on transport, it's like that your work is not worth it. Yes, some jobs are not worth it anymore. If you look at the current cost of transport, so you look at what you are being paid, it's not worth it. So you just have to leave that work and look for one that you know. Like somebody now might be earning 30,000, a work that is not paying for transport, and it can be better off than somebody earning 100,000 that is paying transport. Because some people are paying 100,000 for. If you look at it, the transport, the stress, the feeding and everything, you see that you're even already at a loss. But your 30,000 maybe you just threw there. So people are changing jobs also. So remote work, people are looking at remote work. People should be creative. You have to, now it's time to account for every kobo. There is no excesses. Just like my friend will tell you, every day I spend 10,000 on fuel. So before I leave my house every day, if that thing is not worth it's not worth it, it's not going to bring something more than that, I don't even try to drive my car. So we just being creative, we look at the excesses. That's what we need to do individually. Okay. We need just to look inward. We need to put everything, all our cards, we need to put it on paper. The last time my friend wanted to go to Kano, from Abuja, when he checked the flight, he said, no, I can't pay for this to go and come back. And I will lodge in hotel. Everything is almost $500,000 just for a weekend. So he just said, let me just board the train to Kaduna. So he boarded train to Kaduna. From Kaduna he entered bus to Kano. So he did the same thing. Yeah, it's not expensive. So he did the same thing when he was coming back. So we just have to face the reality as individual, so that we don't get into a very financial mess. Okay. So as government now, government needs to just be sincere with the people. This subsidy removal of a thing, if you look at it, government did not do due diligence to it.
How? Government
did not do what we call cost benefit analysis. It wasn't done.
Meaning
if you want to take decision, what is going to cost? They are only telling us the cost of subsidy. They are not telling us the cost to remove the subsidy. Subsidy has been there since 1977. Let me just be conservative. So if you look at 1977 till now, that should be around 56 years now. If you look at it, 77 up to now.
No, maybe 40.
That's 46 years. That's 46 years. Now, it has become a part of our economy. It has become a part and parcel of our pricing system. So now you taking it off overnight is a very big problem without making an adequate provision for it. Just like some analysts said, government just did a kick and follow policy, which you've already removed the subsidy because you are talking about planning for it, which is very wrong. You are dealing with human beings, not animals. Even when you are dealing with animals, you should think ahead how to make your animals comfortable.
But the government came up immediately with palliative.
There was no immediate palliative. You and I were in this country. It took government more than 3 months before government could even come about wage award for civil servants.
Even states.
Many states. I'm going to get to that. Many states have not even been able to even implement anything. 35,000 wage award, which is grossly even inadequate looking at what is on ground. Which they are saying government did not do a real cost benefit analysis. Because if government has done a cost benefit analysis, they will have looked at it. What is it going to cost for us to be able to cushion the effect of this thing. And when they look at what is going to cost, they will know that it's not even worth it. Because, okay, the government was saying that we spend 400 billion on subsidy per month, on PMS subsidy per month, which we all know that is an inflated figures. We all know that's an inflated figures. So, if that 400 billion, now the government is talking about 25,000 cash transfer to household for 16 million household. 25. If we go about that, even every month, that is going to cost 375 billion naira, which is grossly inadequate. Can't even get anywhere. So now, if you look at even that, for that only, not talking about the wage award, not talking about many things, that's what federal government is coming out federal government also just to cushion the effect of this, which will not get anywhere. So if we look at it with the 400 billion, you can see that it's nothing. Understand? So government, because we all know that comfortably, if corruption was dealt with, if holes were plugged, this 400 billion bill for PMS could easily go down to something around 150 billion. Understand? Which we could avoid, we could afford. Subsidies don't have to be there forever, but there should be an adequate preparation. I don't know the reason why there was so much rush. There was no refinery in place. The refineries were not working. So if the refinery were still working, so the cost of bringing in it will still be different. So many things were not in place. The government just ran things down the throat of the people in a way that was not planned. It took them a lot of time to respond when the thing has already, when the people are almost even dying. It took a lot of time, and even when they are even responding, the response is not even, is grossly inadequate. I don't know the level of discussion that happens in this government offices or government house. I don't know these advisors. I don't know even if there's any thinking or rationale behind all these things. Maybe people just wake up one day and they just think we should just do it like this. Because it's a simple mathematics. Even in your house, if you want to do something, you look at the merit. You put the merit on one side, you put the demerit on one side, and you look at it. Okay, let me see. Does the merit outweigh the demerit? So you look at it. That's just a simple way to do.
Maybe you're talking about due diligence.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It takes time in governance. There are processes which must be followed.
So
maybe that is why they delay.
I'm not speaking. You don't need to come out if you don't have all your facts. Understand? Leadership is not a rocket science. Leadership is not a rocket science. Even if you've not been in political office before, you lead your house. Even if you cannot lead your house, you lead your own. You lead yourself. If I want to come down from my house to this place now, I look at the merit and the demerit of it. Just like I was telling you now, if I want to take my car out now, I look at it. This place I'm going now, is it worth it? Understand? I look at it, the merit and the demerit. Okay, my income is limited, but my expenses is overwhelming. So now I need to prioritize it. These are just basic mathematics. If you are paying there is a claim of 400 billion subsidy per month, which we all know that is inflated.
We don't know whether it's inflated or not.
We all know.
We don't.
The government said fuel was going to neighboring countries. So it's not a denial. This is an open secret. The government said fuel was going to neighboring countries. So why can't the government plug all those ones? The government has the navy, they have the military, they have the DSS, they have the police, they have the immigration, they have everything. They have the national security advisor, they have the Nigerian intelligence agency, they have everything in their hands to stop that. So is it the people that should pay the price for inadequacies of the government? It's not the people. So even if government can get rid of the one going to the neighboring country as a claim, we all know that it's going to even bring this subsidy bill down by half. So government might have some motive that they didn't tell us, which I don't know, and I won't speculate.
I doubt.
Understand? No, they might have. I didn't say they have. I said they might have, because even you coming on the first day in office and not see that subsidy is gone, you can see that it's not even proper. You've not sat in the office to get any briefing. You need to listen to the permanent sec. There's difference between what you are hearing when you are outside of our office and what the briefing you receive when you are sitting as as the commander-in-chief.
The government must have done their homework anyway.
So it was from office, somebody moved from his house, he moved to the swearing-in grant, and on that swearing-in grant...
I don't believe it's no.
No, it's obvious now. May 29, it was during the...
Yes, I know. It was announced.
It was announced, and that was all. So you should have taken his time, because at least he still had 1 month. The previous administration paid subsidy till the end of June. At least he still has some time to listen to briefings. Understand? He still has some time to sit down and look at many things before come out with his own comprehensive. How do we cushion the effect of these things? How do he still has his own time to do all those things? Nothing was done, no provision was made, and now the people are just left stranded. Understand, to fend for themselves. So talking about the state government, somebody gave somebody 2 billion. No, let's be fair to the state government. The money was not a gift, it was a loan, a grant. The grant was to be 5 billion, but the government gave 2 billion to each state.
To start with,
it is not a gift. I mean, it's not free. It's not free. It's a interest-free loan, 2 billion, which is meant to buy rice. Government told them what to do with it. Buy rice. And also government also gave each state 5 trucks of rice. The 2 billion was to buy more rice to join to the 5 trucks. After that, another 2 billion will be released. They've not stated what to do with that 2 billion. It's also going to be a grant. Another 1 billion will be released. That 1 billion is not going to be cash. Government is going to buy maize from the strategic reserve through the CBN. Buys a grain of 1 billion naira each for each state from the strategic reserve of the federal government and give it to the state. So that we don't go so that we put things in proper perspective. Though the state government, the money sharing from the federal allocation now has increased, which is another issue. But if we want to talk about something coming to them from the federal government, that is it. So now, what is 5 billion naira to be 2 billion naira to be buying rice, to be sharing? No. It's an insult on the dignity of the people.
Our bread is better than not.
Our bread is not even worth it. This is not even our bread. This is no bread at all.
Again, yes, we appreciate the federal government for that move as one of the immediate response to cushioning the impact of this fuel subsidy was that allocation of some money to states, like you said, 2 billion naira
to buy rice.
Each state of the federation. But again, there is a growing concern from the public that even the 2 billion naira did not get to the people that it was meant for. And where it got to some persons, there is a far outcry on the quantum. So yes, can we say that this is a case of lack of monitoring or the case of slower attention on the part of the government?
The federal government
is to start with the 2 billion.
The federal government is just playing to the gallery.
How?
Understand? The person that is sitting at the helm of affairs is a grassroots person. So this is somebody that has been part of this system of this country for more than 23 years as a governor. And if we say part of the Nigerian politics, he has been there for 31 years. He knows the system. That's what he was just trying to throw the state governors under the bus. That's what I just see. He's playing to the galleries. Now, you gave them rice. You gave them 3 trucks of rice. Give them additional 2 billion to buy rice. If you put everything together, how much bag of rice will you buy? How would they share it? How would they share it? How much will get to you? You know, this is an insult. In some places, a whole community, 6 modules of rice got to them. One of my friends in Lagos, as a community leader, he said he came to call him that in their own community, in their street, 10 modules of rice got to them, the whole of their street. So he said, not per family, the whole of their street, 10 modules of rice got to them. Understand? And they gave them the analysis. This is not that somebody stole it. It's not every state governor that stole the system. Let's just be realistic here. Instead, they gave them the analysis of how much bag of rice was bought, how much was distributed to each local government, how much was distributed to every district, every federal constituency, how much was distributed this is just the fact of it. So we know this is, and even the rice cause more problem. Why? Now, 2 billion times 36. That is 72 billion. Now 72 billion pressure on our local rice production. That was what jacked up the price of rice. That was why people that even want to buy with their money now, they could not afford it anymore. Then we say government is not taking through. No, we need people that, we don't need those politicians in government. Understand? People don't have to be politicians before government can tell them to come and serve in governance.
We don't need
I'm not saying we don't politicians. I said we don't need only politicians in government. Okay. That's what I'm saying. I don't say we don't need politicians. I know we don't need only politicians in government. Yes, we don't need. It's not that. It's not. If someone is not a politician, but you know that this person is clear-headed, you can call him so that he can assist you. The time that you are going about with politics, he is there trying to work out governance. So one of the major problems we're having is that everything we subject everything to politics. So you say that critical thinking is not going to many things that we do. So that's why when we get to the field, it doesn't work. That's what I'm saying, that simple mathematics, anybody that knows, okay, it is a country where we don't have a social, a complete, a robust, or I don't want to say we don't have a social register at all. We don't have even an effective addressing system. What is the address of people's house? People have address. Some people don't have bank account. People don't have BVN. People are not captured in the NIN. People. So how do you want to even distribute effectively? You see all those houses without numbers, without addresses. You see people without. How do you want? So they know these challenges that are there. So they know that this thing is important. It can't work. They know, but they just want to do. We're giving you this. So if you want to die, go and die. So at least we say we did something. Understand? Yeah. So that was what it can't work, and it caused more problem. And the problem it caused was that the state were paying for this rice direct from the manufacturers, direct from the factories, direct from the farm. So the demand now skyrocketed beyond production.
So the demand was higher.
So the demand was about so everything about the price. So even me and you that don't want the one of palliative from government. Even people who don't need palliative from government that can afford to buy for themselves, they started using palliative because the price have gone beyond understand. So if everything has been done in the right way, they will have thought about it. That, okay, now if we put this 72 billion that we are giving to this to go and be buying rice, so won't it affect the price of this thing? Even people who don't need palliative that can buy, is it not going to affect the price? So all these things were not there. I was like, government did not sit down and do analysis and do a right complete analysis. To govern people is not rocket science. You just need to sit down before you take any decision, especially as the president. It's very easy to be a governor. I used to tell people it's nothing to be a governor. Just sit down. You want to increase IGR of your state, call tax consultant. If you increase the tax of my state by this amount, I'll be giving you so percentage every month. You call your one construction company, we want you to be tying road, we'll be paying you this every month. You identify the project, they will do it. The noisemakers in your state, you call them and be giving them some cash out of your security, out of what you call it, their security vote. And also you call the police, you have a joint for security in your state, have a joint security operative. The Navy, the DSS, all of them in your state have a joint tax operative like that, budget a particular amount and be given to them every month. Your state will be, so it's very easy for a state governor. Understand, like that. But for a president, it's not that easy, because all your decisions, you need to look at the political side of it, you need to look at the economic side of it, you need to look at the international relations part of it, you need to look at everything, you look at the posterity part of it, so it takes a lot of thinking, which you need people who are not involved in politics, day-to-day politics, that can help you with all these things. So if these right things have been done, that's what I'm saying, that if all these things were put in place and were looked at before this petroleum PMS subsidy was removed, we'll have known that the cost of removing subsidy is higher than the cost of the subsidy itself. And I said, look at the poverty rate. Even everybody is going to become a pauper. Understand? My friend, I told you that he had to board a train, was still somebody that is earning more than 1 million every month. So somebody earning more than 1 million today cannot afford to fly to go on flight.
It depends on its priority anyway. I want to believe that the government is capable, the president is capable, and they are on top of the situation. Away from that now, recently the National Assembly approved over 2 trillion naira as supplementary federal budget, and many would have thought that substantial part of the money will be deployed to either fix the refineries or something similar to address immediate needs of the citizens or even the productive sectors. How will you react to the way the budget is prepared?
This is a supplementary budget. You know,
over 2 trillion naira.
You know, that's one of the reasons why I said government was not sincere about subsidy removal.
If you say government is not sincere,
I will give you.
I will not take it.
Let me just do that. One of the point the government made was when they were removing subsidy, in that speech, May 29 speech, that the president said was that there is no provision for subsidy, for PMS subsidy in 2023 appropriation budget beyond June. And some of us just laughed when we heard that, and that was the rumor that it was not the present government that removed the subsidy, it was the previous government that removed the subsidy because they didn't put it in the budget beyond 23. And some of us laughed that, well, you can do supplementary budget.
Now we have the supplementary budget.
So that's what I'm just saying. I'm just buttressing my point that I said government was not saying. Understand? They can do supplementary budget. And if something was not in the budget, you can do supplementary budget. You send it to the National Assembly. So one of the points that they made to justify themselves that it was because the subsidy was not in the budget beyond June. That was it wasn't sincere because they could have done supplementary budget. Understand? So that was what I'm saying, that they were not just sincere. Now let's look at this supplementary budget of 2.1 trillion naira. So security got defense, which is the big lion. Always have the lion's share. The first, which is not wrong, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. But the only thing is just that if people are hungry, no matter how much you are spending on defense, you are just deceiving yourself.
But insecurity is also a problem.
It's a problem. But when you have, that's what I'm talking about. We haven't cleared people in government. People, apart from people in offices, having people are pushing around them. Let me tell you something. When security can be tackled by stick and carrot approach.
How?
It's not just hardwares and ammunitions and everything. There must be social security. If people, full security is national security. If people are hungry, if the more poverty is going up, the more there will be insecurity, because the more people are getting hopeless, and the more people are getting hopeless, the more people go into crime, and the more people can dare. I know that before, when I was young, when soldiers are on the street, there will never be any problem. When I was young, not even soldiers, anti-riot policemen, when I was younger, and I'm a young man, when I was younger, so I'm not telling 100 years, I'm not telling 50 years history of this country. I knew in the early 90s, even when anti-riot policemen, then in my place, they call them godo. When they're on the street, if there's any riot, and once government deploy anti-riot policemen, the mother will start calling their children. Nobody will say on the street. But today, you see people daring soldiers.
Is it because of poverty?
It's not because they're hopeless.
All right. Let's quickly take a break now, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is ironic that we are now being ripped apart by our greatest strength, our diversity. We have allowed intolerance, insensitivity, bigotry, and nepotism to blind our vision of the greatness we can achieve working together as one. We may not have the same culture, nor religion, nor language, but we all belong to the same nation by the divine will of God. We did not choose to be Nigerians. Nigeria chose us. This nation is our divine heritage, and if we open our eyes, we would realize that what divides us pales in comparison to what unites us. And by the comparison and conciliation of our differences, we will grow until our differences disappear. Our unity cannot be willed by mere declarations, Nor do we get unity by ignoring the questions that beg for answers. We must celebrate our diversity and debate our differences without fracturing our unity. Our strength is not in our numbers, but in our unity, because even the weak become strong when united. Nigeria unite.
This message is brought to you by Abuja Broadcasting Corporation, owners and operators of ASO Radio 93.5 FM Abuja, ASO Television DSTV Channel 392, Star Times Terrestrial Channel 127, Free TV Channel 507, People's TV Channel 285, and UHF Channel 38.
We are a nation blessed with people of diverse cultures, religions, languages, and opinions. It is
So glad to know that you are still with us on the program. Our guest, an economic analyst, Mr. Abraham Olakpade, is still with us, and we are looking at how Nigerians will continue to cope with the current realities of the economy resulting from fuel subsidy removal. Mr. Olakpade, before we went on the break, we were trying to look at the money approved by the National Assembly. That is a supplementary budget of over 2 trillion naira. And now, some analysts have argued that the government is still silent on the urgent need to fix the refineries, which is the sure way Nigeria will not be exposed to the rising price of crude oil in the international market. Again, how do you agree with this?
The truth is just that people don't look at issues in depth. To be fair to the government, fixing of refinery is not government's business anymore, because NNPC is now a private entity. Although still the largest share of it is still belongs to the government. So the government still controls NNPC, but it's a private entity owned by the government. So the budget of the NNPC and the budget of the government, they don't intermingle anymore. So the government has said Port Harcourt refinery is going to come on board by June, and which we saw some renovation works. I don't know what's going inside, but the buildings outside, we saw some paintings and all those things. But you and I know that refinery job is beyond painting buildings. Just like we saw one refinery that was commissioned by the president, the former president, a private refinery for that, and up to now we didn't see 1 liter of oil, and they didn't tell us when it's going to start production, even despite the flying wars. So we don't know. So let's wait till December. They said the Port Harcourt will come on by December. They said Kaduna is going to come on by first quarter of December, and they said they are giving licenses to some private, and all. That's what I'm saying, that all this, I don't know why they rush. Government should have tarried, let the refineries work. CNG is a very, very clean energy. It's cheaper, it's cleaner, it's better than even this and we have gas in more abundance. You just need a little technology, which 1 year is enough if government is serious about it, to make CNG available to anybody that wants to convert his car to CNG. That was, government did not do that, so it's already a split me. So what can be done at this point? That's what we should be talking about, because the error has been done and the government refused to accept they were wrong. So now, what can be done at this point? That is what we should be talking about. Cash transfer is good. At least when we are at this point, relief. You have to first think about how to relieve your people. But the cash transfer government is talking about, it will only last for 3 months. 25,000 for 60 million household, and I don't know how they did their own mass. They said at least it's going to cover 60, 90, is it 70 million? They said it's going to cover 70 million poor Nigerians. What will happen to the 60 something million rest of the poor Nigerians? Before subsidy was removed, the poverty rate by the National Bureau of Statistics was that 133 million Nigerians are in multi-dimensional poverty. 133 million Nigeria. So now government came up with transfer, for which we know that the 70 million or the 60 million number they are carrying around, we know that they can't achieve it. We know. No, it's a normal thing. We know when you get to the field, a lot of things will happen. So this is not even accusing government of anything, but it's a normal thing. When you get to the field, there will be things that will happen. So now, what will happen to the more than the half? Understand? What will happen after 3 months?
Because of our time, I don't want us to go without asking this question or trying to enlighten people on this particular question. And some, you know that some students, Nigerian students, both in the public and the private institutions, are yet to resume school. Because of the inability of their parents to afford the money that they're supposed to use for school fees, and because of the situation in the country, not forgetting the yet to be understood raising of fees or the opposite in several institutions, even though the current federal administration has promised to see to the full operation of the Student Loan Board. What do you think as of the moment is holding this down?
The student loan was not captured in the budget, but is in this supplementary budget, and 5.5 billion was earmarked for the student loan. So, but the House of Reps said the presidential yacht they wanted to buy, which was 5 billion, that they've transferred it to the student loan, which is 10.5. But government don't work with their statistics. They should not even call it a loan. What they should have called it is scholarship, because I don't even know if that 10 billion, we know that out of this 10 billion, some part will go for administrative fees. I'm talking about cost of disbursing it. Some will go for
the student loan.
Yes, administrative costs now for disbursing it and many other things. Let's even say none was expended on consultancy. We know that the consultancy, all those things. Let's say none was expended on that. That 10 billion, how many students will it reach?
Okay, in all.
In all.
What
100,000. Let's say government is giving 100,000 now to each student as loan, because the average fee of federal university now has risen to 100,000 per section. Now 100,000 will only go to can only go to 100,000 students. 100,000 times 100,000, that's 10 billion. And we have close to 2 million Nigerian students in universities, not all our institutions. I don't know, but that's what I say when I'm talking about governments not thinking in deep. I was like, they don't work with statistics. How will you make politics without statistics? You have close to 2 million students in universities, not all tertiary institutions now. College of Institutions are there, Polytechnic is out there, and out of this almost 2 million, 10%, let me say 1.7 million for example, 10%, which is 170 million, are in private university. Let's say those ones are not captured by this loan. So the remaining, let's say 1.5 million, and now you are making provision for just 100,000. The government have not said how much they are going to disburse, but let's say they disburse 100,000 to 100,000. Now 100,000, if you remove 100,000 for 1.5, it remains 1.4. You can see that this policy doesn't make any sense.
So what do you think the government should do at this point in time as we round off?
Government, that money should be diverted to fund education, so that there is no need for tertiary institutions to increase fee, because that is what everybody can benefit from. Because tertiary institution, the VCs are saying that what government has overhead, what government is going as supervision to run these schools is grossly inadequate. So they have to increase school fees to be able to make money. So instead of that, and they had now telling students that government have said there is student loan, so go and apply for student loan so that you can be able to pay for this new increment. And we know that is grossly inadequate. So now, instead of doing that, government can increase the supervision of this tertiary institution, so that there will not be any excuse for any school management to increase fee. So it will go around, because this loan is not even I don't know what government will call this a loan. Why? If you call it a loan, it means any student that is interested should be able to access it. But this one you are talking about, you don't even have the money to give all the students, so you can call it a scholarship scheme. No, you don't have to. That's not what it's called. If you want to call it a loan that you have to start, students say don't call it a loan. If you are calling it a loan, maybe you power it through the commercial banks and everything, that any student that can get access to it. And also, how will they repay it? Even in advanced country, like United States, for example, where we say we copy this idea, there is great problem with repaying student loan. Default. There is great default. That's where there is more employment, and also that's a country that has lower unemployment rate. Not to talk about the country with very high unemployment rate. So what is the guarantee that anybody will be able to repay this loan? Is it sustainable? Does it mean that every year now government will be budgeting 10 billion or 5 billion every year now for student loan? It's not even sustainable. So, okay, if you say you want to be giving 10 billion for student loan every year, is it the same set of students, or are you going to be expanding it? Because we know that more than 1 million Nigerians every year are writing JAMB. trying to go to an institution. So how do you be able to expand this? So the policy is grossly inadequate. The best thing is government to look for a way to make sure the school fees is affordable, because they alone cannot address the problem.
Okay. My guest is saying that the government should increase the subvention to higher institutions of learning, which will help the students to operate well. And with those measures, we have come to the end of today's edition of the program. I am Ile Emeje. Have a nice week ahead.